Okay, Wayne D here, and if you're on YouTube, please visit my website at WayneDeFrancesco.com. We're looking at the man of the hour. That's Louis Oosthuizen, and he put on quite a show at the British Open. So let's talk about his golf swing and some of the things that he does. This was a great shot of him going through his routine, and there's a couple things that I wanted to show you here that I think are real key. Now let's take him from right when he takes that first step and count it off. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's a 12-second routine right there. Now, once you get over the ball and you only take that long to get set, one look, two looks, a little waggle, and go. See, I like that. Hogan did that. There's some guys that are extremely slow on the tour now. I mean, Nicklaus was slow. You see a lot of deliberate players. I'd rather see this, actually. I grew up as a slow player and have learned to speed it up, play a little faster. So as far as thinking about what you're doing, this really only gives you a chance when you get over here to run the general idea of swing shape or rhythm in your mind. You just can't run through a list of items that you would like to do in your swing. So you practice in order to get yourself to where you can rely on your mechanics and trust yourself, and then your routine helps you to let that come out. Now you're going to miss some shots, so you can't worry about that. It's just a matter of getting into your rhythm and hitting the shot. So let's take a look at some of the other items in the swing. One of the things is you'll see nice and very relaxed, nice posture. The arms are especially relaxed. If you watch the area around the left elbow, right in the takeaway, you'll see it tense up and straighten, and the hands will push down just a little bit, and you can see there's a little bit of an edge downward into the ground. So he's finding the ground, engaging his arms and his body, and then everything really moves back simultaneously, although the leg movement is fairly quiet. So when he gets himself into the ground, the footwork is very quiet. Right hip gets some depth to it, and then what I would consider the magic move that every good player has. If you watch the area in the left from the shoulder down to the waist, and you watch those muscles, when that push comes, now I'm a believer that the push in the forward motion comes from the ground and works toward the left heel about 45 degrees. When that push comes, you'll see those muscles stretch out. So you see the wrinkles in the shirt, and then you don't see them at all. That allows the head to stay nice and steady. There's a definite lateral element to the movement. Diagonal movement gives you rotation, and the arms are pulled down by the thrust of the lower body. Cool. So the motion from the top, see some interesting things in the right arm here. If you ever thought that the right arm was supposed to be straight at impact, not if you're Louis Oosthuizen. So the right arm is still bent, and now it straightens after impact. So I think that you'll find that that's a regular item in most good ball strikers. Now I also see the upward movement of the hips. You can see the elevation in the belt line here through the ball. and the inward thrust of that right leg and right foot. And you see the weight a little bit on the middle of that left foot, but all the way back into the heel eventually. Now this was his amazing 3-wood shot. So perfect takeaway positioning here. So I really like the way he pulls the club away. Just especially nice. You can see a little more of a down the line view. You'll see the club head, really the shaft really does come right up the shaft plane. That camera's a little high for that. There's a better shot here with the iron. There it is. And the other thing I really like is the bend of the right arm, soft arms. So you can see that something that I teach all the time, the elbow gets to the side and stays level, and the club cocks above the right forearm just like that. So another excellent item. Neutral wrist position at the top, really like that. Now, if you watch this ball take off from where it was right here, well, that's not as good as that other picture, so we'll check it out in another. But when we get up to the top, relative to where the feet are aiming here, you can see that the club is slightly laid off. So I kind of believe that laid off is better than crossed, but I really like that neutral wrist position there. And then very open at impact, which I also like a ton. Another thing that I like about this is that when you draw the plane line down halfway back, there's not a lot of lift to the top, almost the same. And then on the forward swing, he'll drop slightly to the underside of that, and the hands will then be able to find the shaft plane nicely. So you can see that little bit of drop as the hips push and go left. The arms fall up against the body a little bit. But one thing you don't see is you never see the right elbow go more behind. It pretty much just comes straight down. And then an interesting release motion. The right arm slings out just a little bit and turns the club over. But the arms are so nicely against the body that it seems to just stay right in there. So that's pretty cool. So take another swing. If we look at one from the side view, if we look at the relative amount of push, not a huge amount of lateral with the driver, but I think when we get to the irons we'll have more. So that's a pretty good fire into that left side. You can see that really nice footwork, definitely on the outer edge of the left foot as he hits the ball, which I teach, and the inner edge of that right foot. Now the head movement's pretty neutral, but you can see there's not a lot of twist in the back swing, so that the cap stays here, pretty much stays there, stays, and then releases. And you can see he's probably picking the ball up on the way up. And the tempo here is a lot like Hogan. There's a little more slowness at the top, not quite as catchy, but when I counted it off, 21-7, which is exactly what Hogan was. So there he is. Beautiful swing, great rhythm.